your attention. The other thing that I'm sure Mr. Walden has noticed is that we're not at the place that we really wanted to be on the water and sewer revenues today. They're a little low, I thought. But we looked at them and, didn't see anything that, maybe we're just low today. I would expect those to go up as the summer months come into play. But we have collected quite a bit of TAP revenue, so well above pace on that to date. But as far as individual accounts, I know we've had department heads ask us a couple of questions on line items that Regina and I will look into. So that's good. It's good that we're able to look at this now, not 12 months down the road when we're trying to pass a budget. So we'll look at those as they're brought to our attention. Anybody got any comments or anything that we want to look at individually?
I think we're all just getting it, but does anybody have any comments or anything? I did notice I was comparing it to the 2024 that we didn't discuss yet, and it looks like a lot of that's been cleaned up with the verbiage that is in the 2024, so I'm happy about that.
Were we at some point going to go over the 2024?
Is that, okay.
We never did.
I know, we never did, yeah. Want to do that now?
I had a question and a concern. Get to it. And it was on the public safety, on the regular employees, on the salaries. We had budgeted $1 million, and even with being short on staff, we still spent a little more than the budget. We spent 100% of that. And it just seems to me like something is not jiving there with us being short like 3 employees. Because we had them figured in, right?
Yes.
Well, you weren't here,
I
Scott,
wasn't
so
a
you
part of
wasn't,
that.
you wasn't a part of that,
Right.
but,
We
that
were
was just,
told they were figured in.
yeah, we were told they were figured in, so how could we use 100% of the salaries if we were short
And that was
at
what,
least 2 to 3 people?
that was what department?
Public.
Police department,
Police department?
yes. So it makes me wonder about this year's budget if we were, if that was
We
the case
were.
last year. Yeah.
I think we had an instance where we had to correct something last year. And that-
Yes. We had the discrepancy that had to be corrected.
With, I think
Being
it-
what?
It had to be some salaries that were approved and not ever acted out on, I think. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
That's right, I remember that, yeah.
yeah.
So that's probably what it was.
It could
And the
very
reason
well
we
be
didn't have to
because there
amend
was-
is because we had that money there.
There was a couple of them that had received a lump sum, that's correct. Okay, that's probably it then.
I do remember that, yeah.
That's probably it. I had forgotten that.
And that was, I remember the discussion now, Howard, we said we wouldn't have to do any kind of adjusting because we had that extra in there.
Because we had
of
that
those
cushion in
employees.
there.
Even if he had hired at the last month, we would have still been all right.
Well, it came out pretty much even then, within about $300.
Right.
That was one of the, one of the big things that I saw.
Anything else?
No, nothing that,
I did want to say, since we're, we're figuring out this process, what day would y'all like to have a copy of the financials to review before each, finance committee meeting?
I would say if we had them at when we get our packet, it would be enough time.
When do
yeah.
they get the packet?
So we need it that Tuesday before.
Tuesday before? Okay. And we will have these, is it at the end of every month? Okay. I think that's
I
doable.
have it on that. The
Okay,
next
yeah.
one's June, so.
June 2nd.
and we'll get our packets on
Okay.
Friday, so we'll have all weekend to look it over.
The next meeting is June 2nd, or the?
Yeah, yes, meeting June
All right.
2nd. So.
We'll have to talk about that one, because I will be on vacation the week before, but
Okay.
I will be back for that meeting, so, but we'll figure out something.
Any other questions, comments on anything else on the first line item? Anything else you want to bring to our attention to?
I don't have anything. Regine, do you have anything? I think so, right, at this time.
Okay. Everybody good then? All right, we removed item 2, so let's go to item 3, report on the Georgia Cities Week, Imagine the Possible, April 21st to 26th, participation that took place in the city of Temple. Ms. Etheridge.
So the mayor kind of already brought that up, but I would just like to reiterate, we appreciate everybody participating. Literally every department helped out in some way. And I know it took away from their normal duties and staying late that night, so it's just greatly appreciated. We feel like we had a great turnout. People seem to enjoy it. We appreciate the council being there. I know the citizens appreciated the ability to talk to y'all. And I'd like to give special thanks to Amanda because she helped me organize the whole week, and just to everybody, because really everybody pitched in and made it a great week. We had the 2 events. The Senior Center did a great job with their Friends and Family Friday, so shout out to Shanika and Kathleen, and then to all the other directors that also helped with us on Tuesday. So it was a great week.
Thank you. Okay. Item number 4, you have the legislative updates from the GMA Governmental Relations Team. Lisa, is there anything you want to bring to our attention on that?
Yes. On the second page, the federal issues, we received this from the GMA District 4 listening session that I went to last week. On the back page of it, where it says protect tax exempt status of municipal bonds, GMA brought up that this is going to greatly impact cities if we are not protected with an exempt status for municipal bonds. I didn't bring my paperwork here, but they just, for instance, gave us an example, on how many more millions of dollars you would pay in taxes if you had to, on the municipal bonds for cities. So therefore, they had said, if you can call members of Congress to maintain this century-long track record of keeping this effective financial tool available to cities, that would be greatly appreciated. So just to bring that to your attention.
Any questions or comments?
They-
Go ahead.
Yeah, there's something else that's interesting on that legislative report. As far as the, where it says the budget wins, they're apparently doubling the LMIG without having to have a local match on that. Is that what I'm reading?
So that's the LRA funds, locally administered, local road funds, I can't remember what it's called right now. But that is what we qualified for last year with no match, and they're doing that again this year.
Okay.
Mhm.
Doubling? It says doubling the LMIG.
Well, yes, so the LMIG has the
Would
required
be-
match, but the LRA funds don't have a match. So you can get both, you can get LMIG and
Okay,
LRA.
okay. So that's
So
what
the
we got,
LR
okay.
Yes, that's correct, and we don't have to match, so that's fabulous.
Well, that's all the more reason to get our audits done on time, so we can get that money. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else on item 4? Okay. Item number 5, you have the monthly paid invoices report. Any questions, comments? Item number 6, Carroll County Water Authority monthly report. Any questions or comments?
Let me just touch on that while we're on the Water Authority. We had a budget work session at the Water Authority on April the 17th, And included in their budget was an increase for the city of Temple for buying the water from Carroll County. And it's a little less than last year. They figured in 5% increase. And of course, it hasn't been voted on yet. It'll be voted on May the 15th, but I see no reason why they would change that between now and then. So that's something for us to be working on
Okay, thank you.
in our budget. Okay, thank you. That's it.
Item number 7, monthly report by financial accountant Regina Shaw. Item number 8, monthly report by city clerk Kristen Etheridge. And item number 9, monthly report by city administrator Lisa Jacobson. If there are no questions or comments, that will conclude finance and admin committee.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all. Next committee is Recreation, chaired by Councilwoman Alexis Bowles and Vice Chair Councilman Casey Russell. Ms. Bowles.
Thank you, Mayor. First item up is receive information on the repairs needing to be completed for the concession stands. Ms.
Good
McKinney.
evening. One of our main focuses right now is our football score stand, which is included in the concession stand. There's a lot of repairs that are needed in each concession. There are 3 outdoor concessions. The score stand was vandalized. Josh and them came and they fixed the door. And upon fixing the door, they realized that the entire floor is rotted now and it needs to be repaired. And so we're gonna have a couple people come out and give us some quotes on that. So
Where is this?
on the football field, the score stand in the middle between the two.
The new one?
No.
I mean, the one, the stand?
as relative as like 2012,
Oh,
like 15 years ago.
It was vandalized. The door was kicked in and the frame was damaged. And so they came in to replace it. And there were some other repairs. And this is included in the walkthrough that Randall gave us as well. And we went through each of the concession stands and the score stands, just to make sure that our buildings were up to snuff and making sure everything was safe. And so that was one of the areas that needed to be repaired. We repaired, Josh and his group came over and they helped with the stairs, repaired that and made sure that they were stable. And in their findings, when the vandalism occurred, they noticed that like the floor is rotting. And so,
Still, that's back to the same question,
Yeah.
15 years old and the floor
Yeah.
is rotting out?
yes.
Is there a reason
Well,
for that?
I reported last month about the leak. There was a leak in the roof, and we've been monitoring that. Andre could not find where the roof was leaking, and so upon looking further, when the door was knocked out, then the floor, it was revealed that the floor was rotten as well. So we knew
So
we
it had to be a leak for a good
Yes,
long
we
while.
knew we had some leak damage, but that was just in October when you see the visible part where you could see where there was some damage in the roof and the floor.
But typically in a building of that nature, the floor doesn't rot out that quick.
Well, that's what I'm saying, it was leaking, but the visible damage was we only saw that October, November of last year.
Okay.
Yes.
So
I'm
that
not saying
leak,
it wasn't occurring, I'm just saying it wasn't visible until October
okay.
last year. So we'll have to get some quotes on that as well.
Okay. Thank you. Number 2, discussion on potential upgrades to playground number 1.
Right, I've got a couple of quotes in, I'm still awaiting several. In the midst of that, the plan is to replace one unit, okay? The big playground unit, because it's old, and there are some areas that are unsafe on it. I shouldn't say unsafe, but we're getting close to that time to replace it. Also, the merry-go-round, from August when we had our report, when I put this report in and the capital project request, things were okay. Now our merry-go-round is damaged and there are some holes in it and it's unsafe as well. So I have to go back to the table and look at what we're doing, because I requested, I think it was $70,000 for this capital project. And that included the floor to replace with a ADA safe floor that people can have access to the playground. So we're having to go back and revisit that. So I don't have a report on that. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that we're still looking and seeing what we need to do. Okay?
That playground one, is that by the pavilion?
By the pavilion, yes, sir. Yeah, and you know we've got some water issues there, because
Yeah.
that's where one of the drains, and it stays wet. So we need to replace it with a material that can withstand that, with the water drainage right there. So we're looking at some rubber mulching, not rubber mulching, but some rubber surfacing or turf to complete that. And that's a little bit more extensive than the 70,000
That rubber surfacing is
Rubber
nice
surface.
if we can afford it.
it is.
I've seen that in some parks.
It's comparable to the turf in pricing, but the rubber mulching, not the mulching, but the rubber surfacing, it does have to be treated once a year to maintain. But the turf has like a 20-year, 25-year guaranteed on it with no maintenance. But it's extensive. They both are.
So we're going to be getting more quotes?
Yes, sir. We're gonna
Right.
get more quotes and just trying to look at the different playgrounds that will be, best suited for our citizens.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, moving on to number 3. Receive information and discuss sports lighting and electrical repairs at the sports field.
Right. I have 2 quotes so far for the sports lighting. We've had issues year after year. We've been repairing lights, this is the sports lighting, repairing those. Now we have ballasts that are out, some electrical issues. The lowest quote was $7,130, and that's unseen. That's just recognizing that there's a ballast that needs to be repaired or replaced, and that there are other lights on multiple fields that need to be replaced as well. So we're going back to the drawing board to see what will be the best thing to do at this point. We're having scoreboard issues and lighting issues. So that's all I need to report on that.
All right? Number 4, discussion on utilizing the museum to include housing community development.
I was looking into another property, however, that could be for sale, which is the White House at the Flat Tracks that used to be the Mustard Seed. Just looking at other options, because I'm not real sure what direction that you guys want to go in. The sale price is significant, and then it also needs repairs as well. So I don't think it's even an option. And Carrie, did you happen to find out if the house on Sage Street was bought with SPOS funds or out of the general fund?
I thought it didn't at the last meeting, we determined that SPOS was not used for that.
That was the
You were-
plan. It was it.
Regina, you had looked into that? No? Okay. Thought we were, okay.
So we'll find out.
We were thinking that it wasn't bought by SPOS.
But we just need to know for sure.
Right, because if it was, it's something that we could
The
have.
the question was, if it was purchased with SPOS funds, could we go ahead with it and make it into a
Split use.
split use?
I think you probably can, although I need to look at that some more, because when I left the last time, I thought we had determined that it was not.
Yeah.
So I didn't look into it further.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
But if we think it may have been, then I can look into it.
Okay.
do we know if that museum was even on the SPOS ballot? I was thinking it was, but it may not be. I'm not sure.
I think on the ballot, it came in on the next one was to put the money there to start the process of refurbishing.
On the-
I think it was on this, I think that was bought from general fund. It's just unclear. But I think it started the next time that the museum was put in there as a,
You're talking about for the next splosh coming up in 26,
yeah,
27?
whenever it was bought, the next time the splosh was renewed, I
Okay.
think that's when it was put in there.
Could be.
I think.
I'm not
That's the
sure.
way I remember it, but, hey, memories are, some are good and some are bad
The SPOS has been renewed once
since then.
since the purchase.
But I think the idea was that Splosh would be used to refurbish as we got to the point, because you remember, it was never bought to be immediately turned into a
Right,
museum.
right.
That it was a project that would be done over time. But if this, I guess this is a question, if I may, we can do both?
Well,
Even if we're using splosh funds?
I think what you would not want to do is use splash funds now that were allocated for a museum or something for community development or recreation.
Sure.
I don't think that's what we're saying. I think what we're saying is, can we just use something in the same space as a different use?
Well, the original proposal was, I think I'm right, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought the original proposal was to do the front portion of the house and make that into the museum, the front portion and the kitchen area to make that for museum, period. Everything there would be used for museum. And then the backside would require some changes in addition that would be used for community development.
Correct.
With the idea that as the museum grew and as community development grew, that the community development would move out and perhaps the museum would take over the whole spot. That's kind of projected in the future. And I may be speaking out of turn, I hope I'm not.
Right.
So the front part, all the renovation on the front part would be museum.
The living room, the dining room, and the kitchen.
Right, but are we saying we would use museum funds
Only for
in the
that.
future for the community development part of the space?
No.
Okay. That's what I think would be an issue.
Museum funds would be used for museum only.
And then wherever for the,
Community development.
I mean, I think you're probably okay as long as you don't do that, what I just said. But if we know that splash funds were not used for the museum, period, in the past, then we know we're okay. So I think that's what I was sort of, that makes it an easy answer.
Yeah.
I know at the last meeting, we were talking about, Deidre brought up tearing out walls and adding offices, and didn't you say add a restroom and
Actually,
do some ADA compliance?
are you familiar with the house plan? The
I
way that
just-
house is laid
I
out?
saw the drawing that you had provided.
There's a hallway and a hallway bathroom, so we need to move the wall out to make it ADA compatible. And we'll have a door from the hallway to go into the bathroom, and we'll have a door from the outside to go into the bathroom as well. So if the green space area is being used, they will have access to a bathroom. So we don't have to build a whole nother bathroom or bathhouse type thing in the back.
What I wouldn't want to do is spend that money now to take out walls and add things, and then later have to do something totally different in order to expand the museum when community development may not be there anymore. I just don't want to do double work, spend double money.
I don't think that would be, there might have to be some configuration, but not that much. Because what would be done to change it, to make it compliant,
Just
would be
making the hallway
compliant,
bigger.
period. So that you would just, the space that community development is occupying would then become space for the museum. I don't think there'd be a whole lot to be done that would change that. But it would be preparing, it's kind of hard to see how much that we've got, but we're already collecting a lot of stuff for the museum. And so I think by the time one outgrows, there'll be outgrowth at the same time, but I don't think it'll happen like next year. I think it'll probably be 5-10 years down the way. But it would be, if community development is in there and we're able to develop the museum, I think that there would be on-site a little more protection for it. When I visited the Warren Sewell Museum in Bremen, have you been there?
No.
They created within that, there's a community spot kind of in the back, And then out as a part, I don't know how the building was when it was factory, but they created spaces inside that building that reflected various aspects of the textile industry in Bremen. But the thing about it is, they left it open all the time, and there was nothing there, so that anybody could go in and vandalize anytime they got ready. But with this, there wouldn't necessarily have to be somebody there all the time if we had staff working there.
Yeah, we'd be on site during the week.
That's also kind of a idea I had when I looked at it.
For curiosity, what was the cost on the other structure you looked at?
Almost 500,000.
And then remodel it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah.
So I pulled up the 2015 SPLOST referendum, and it does not say the museum at all. It says, City of Temple, roads, streets, bridges, sidewalks. 2, water facilities and equipment. 3, public works facilities and equipment. 4, recreation facilities and equipment. 5, economic development. 6, public safety facilities and equipment. 7, administrative facilities and equipment. 8, sewer facilities and equipment. 9, senior center facilities and equipment. 10, land procurement. 11, green space acquisition. And 12, debt service for capital improvements.
Which one was that, Lisa? What year?
2015.
2015?
Yes, so it did
And-
not have the museum on it, and I do recall with the, one of our previous audits, I don't remember which one it was, I want to say it was 2021, when we were working with Malden Jenkins, that there was discussion on the 2015 SPLOST, saying that we needed economic development, and there was talk, we had already bought the museum, and Mr. Osborne had mentioned, oh, we could use some of that for the museum that had already been purchased. But that was the last that I recall.
And I have that.
So he was going to
certification as
use
well.
economic development, not museum.
So did we have anything on the 21 SPLOST mentioning
Yes, I
museum?
pulled this, so I got it right here.
But the
So-
museum was bought before that. Okay.
So what year is
So
this one?
2021 SPLOST has improvements, repairs, and expansion of the Temple Museum. And then we also have economic development as well. So you would just have to make sure that you're obviously choosing your funds according to the project.
Right.
So that's 21.
Correct.
I knew it could get a little bit sticky there.
I personally would like for us to pursue this. I think it would be,
Yeah, for sure. Legal
as long as
first.
it's legal. I mean, that's the reason we got an attorney and a city administrator to make sure we stay legal. I think, I mean, I think we should just pursue it.
I want to know dollar amounts and
Well, that's
legal
what,
first.
she
Okay.
can't get dollar amounts
Until-
until we tell her to pursue it.
And we can't pursue it until we know legally.
So we gave both.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Sorry. Okay, I couldn't see I can't see your face, so I can't tell if you're talking.
Well, we would need to know, the legality of it, you pretty much have told us, but we definitely need to know that we're on legal footings to be able to do this. And then second,
Is the legal question if you want to use 2021 SPOS to do the project, can you do that?
I think Howard's question, you need to answer that question, Howard, because I think you were asking if we bought the museum out of SPOS.
Well, I did ask that, and I think we also have to be careful about what portion of it we use SPLOST money on, museum SPLOST money on.
I think it'd have to be crystal clear that,
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'd be easy to do because you're talking about the front. You know, it's not like you're going to be intermixing. The only time you'd have to do is figure out how you're going to split air conditioning or heating, or when you put a new roof on. You
Yeah.
know, there'd have to be something laid out to know how much would be one and how much would be the other.
What scares me about remodeling an old building too is the cost per square foot is so much more than just starting from scratch.
Scratch.
It's almost double, I think, and you never know what you're gonna get into,
No.
especially in a building that was built, what, 1949?
So what's your pleasure?
I think we should pursue. I don't say we build, I say we pursue, get more idea. You know, somebody give us an idea of how much it would cost to remodel it. You know, they can look at it, give us a rough estimate, they can go under and look, make sure the floor's not rotted, you know? How, you know, what does the structure of the roof look like, structure of the building? I think we could get enough of that to have a general idea.
Doesn't it have a new roof on it?
Yeah, it does.
So the roof structure should be good, I would hope.
Yep. I want to see that museum very soon to be a reality. There are lots of stuff being collected. I mean, you know, we were able to do a good bit of stuff with the mural, but that's a picture. We're able to do stuff with the art, but there's much more that represents this community, and the sooner the better. And if it's not astronomical, I think it'd be worthwhile to check it out. Huh?
I feel like Ms. Miller, you know, let's make sure everything's legal, and once we've done that, then
Oh,
pursue.
y'all please don't say that I'm advocating doing something illegal. There's enough crap said about me without you implying that.
No, sir, we just want to make
I
sure.
want to make crystal clear that everything I said is legal.
And once we find out for sure,
Yes.
everything is legal, we will have, Randall has already been in there and he's gotten a number of quotes. She had quotes prior to, so we will separate what the museum is gonna cost and what community development will cost, so we'll know where the funding needs to come from.
Sure. I like that.
Yeah, that's fair enough, and it doesn't hurt to find out what it will cost.
Nope.
Yes. Okay. So we put in this.
No, we're pursuing, telling them to pursue, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
there's no requirement of a vote, official vote for just getting information.
No, sir.
Okay, all right.
Yay.
Moving on to item number 5. Temple Carroll County Library Advisory Board term is up for the reappointment with a new term effective July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2028. Ms. Jacobson.
Yes, I ask that you consider your reappointment, and if we can put this on the agenda for next week so that we can go ahead and authorize.
Just one.
Yes, yes.
And that's one that's currently by
Correct.
Charlene Thomas?
Yes, yes. And then we will prepare the letter and send them the letter of your council's decision.
Is she has expressed an
Well, I haven't talked with her, that's why I'm bringing it to your attention, because I believe mayor or somebody else typically speaks with her to decide what you would like to do.
I don't see any reason not to continue. Or do you, Howard?
I talked to Charlene today, and she's willing to serve
Yeah.
through 2028. She would like to stay on.
I see if that's true, just put it on the consent agenda.
Okay.
Does anybody object?
Got it.
Okay. Item number 6, the monthly report by Recreation Director, Ms. McKinley.
Yes, you guys have my report, but I do want to highlight something for our track and field this year. We sent 15 athletes to the state meet this past weekend, and that is double what we've sent in the last 3 or 4 years. And we've had quite a few that placed in the state meet as well. So I'm super excited about our track and field program. It has grown. We started with 6 the first year, 6 athletes, and we've expanded to, we have like 49 this year. And what's great about it, though, we're still small in number, we've been placing, our percentage in placing has increased every single year. And we didn't get a first place, we got about 3 or 4 second place in the state, but we competed in over 7 or 8, I think 8 to 10 different events. That's a big deal. Usually we go for 1 or 2, 3 or 4 events. Now we're up to 10 to 12 events that we're going on. So it's in my report. I'm sorry I didn't pull those numbers accurately, but it's in my report, and you can see what they did. And then next month, you'll see the state report as well. This is just district that you have in your hands right now. So I just want to commend our coaches and our coaching staff who made this happen. It's been a phenomenal year.
Congratulations to them all. Any other questions or comments for Mr. Bennett? Thank you. Thank you, Matt. Number 7, Senior Center Monthly Report by Ms. Kathleen Dowdell. It's so hard to say, and Ms. Shanika.
You have our report, and at this moment, we don't have anything to add.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Quick enough.
Kathleen, the chicken was awesome Friday.
Yes, it was.
Woo-hoo.
Well, that now concludes Recreation Committee. That concludes Recreation.
All right, thank you so much. Next up is the Community Development Committee, chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Richard Bracknell, Vice Chair Councilwoman Hailey Miller. Mr. Bracknell.
All right. Report on the monthly Planning Commission meeting with items to be presented to the City Council at the next regular voting meeting. Ms. Walker.
We did not have an April Planning Commission meeting. We do have one on the schedule for May. I have at least 3 items coming up, but so there's nothing for you guys to vote on.
Okay. All right. Number 2, monthly report from Codes Enforcement. Contact or email Mr. Prince if you have a question. Same thing with community, the Construction Development Inspector, as well as community monthly report. Community Development, Deidre's here if you got questions for her.
I did want to address the zoning map. I spoke with Three Rivers twice while they were here last week for our open houses. And they had sent me the zoning map, the updated zoning map, months back. So I went through it, Lisa went through it. There are quite a few things that need to be corrected. But Paul Gerald and I have been playing phone tag since last week. So he's getting with me to sort out how we can, because there's lots of mistakes. And so there are going to have to be a lot of changes, but the software we do not have. So I basically kind of told them, do we want to sit down in front of each other? How do you want me to send this information to you so we can update this map? So.
So it's in their court.
Mhm.
Okay. Nothing else? That finishes my report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Next is Public Works Committee, chaired by Councilman Casey Russum, Vice Chair Mayor Pro Tem Richard Bracknell. Mr. Bracknell, please carry that ball.
All right, number 1, report on the spring cleanup day that was held on March the 29th.
That went very well. We basically filled up 3 dumpsters. I think we took about 80-something tires off of people's hands, so it was a good event, other than it took them a little, only problem we really had is GFL took about a week or so to come pick the dumpsters up. So I got 1 and then left 2 for a little while. Ingrid had to call me. But other than that, it went great.
Any questions? All right, number 2, update on the Public Works building.
We have a pre-construction meeting in the morning, and then we'll be going to the site to lay out some things, and they plan to start doing the site work next week. They've ordered the building. They were trying to coordinate it, of course, to where once they mobilize, you know, they're not going to have to stop while they're waiting on the building to be manufactured. So the building's expected to be here in June, late June, maybe early July, and once they start their work, it's hopefully going to be, you know, one thing after the other until it's completed. So.
Okay. All right, any questions? All right, number 3, information on the Sage Street East Johnson Waterline Project.
They are supposed to be wrapping things up and getting all of their grading items done, and all the grassing items done, the roads repaired, and all that kind of stuff. And they've got one more 2-inch bore to do, and they were scheduled to do that last week, and had a few other issues that we had to tend to, so hopefully they show back up this week. They weren't here today, so.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just curious, what happened to Mr. Parrish's, they had to dig up his yard again?
Well,
You
they,
know.
yeah, I do know, yes, sir. They were gonna repair irrigation lines and give us a price on doing that, and they started that, and I'm not sure they know how to do it, so.
Gotcha.
So that's a result of irrigation lines.
Mhm.
Okay. Update on anyone else have a question? I'm sorry. Update on the Williams Mill Creek Interceptor project.
They're on the last phase of that, so they should be getting pretty close to getting that wrapped up. We have to do a little bit of coordinating on one of the manholes that has to be installed with the sewer main coming off, the force main that comes off of Deer Creek. So we're gonna have to coordinate, I think we're gonna try to coordinate that for next week, and should take about half of a day to do that. But they're making pretty good progress.
Okay.
I do need to add something to, I'm sorry, I just thought about this because I filled this report out today. Last week, the water testing that's done monthly in that area of Sage Street, a portion of that where the new water line had been installed, Waypoint had contacted me to let me know that the water test had failed. The chlorine residual was too low. So we went out the next day and tested before that project begins at the fire department. The chlorine levels were fine. Then we tested back in the area where the tests were not passing, and they were low again. So the result of that probably has more to do with there's some contamination, more than likely dirt or gravel of some sort in a section of line somewhere. So I ordered them to flush hydrants again and put a hydrant meter on the hydrants and let them know that I was going to be back charging them for whatever water's used, because it should have been taken care of to begin with. And as a result of some of that back and forth with them, probably one of the reasons they're not here today. They're not very happy with me. So I had to fill out a report to the EPD, because when they send the test results in, they'll follow back up, and had to do a level 1 assessment, stating what the issue was and what the remedies were, and I sent that to EPD about 2 hours ago. So.
All right, any questions? Also not on here is the sign, the Welcome to Temple sign.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of tell us what happened there?
Yeah, Chief let me know a while ago that he sent the report to, a police report over to Deidre. I just need to get a copy of it, and I guess we need to, start putting together a price on, what it's gonna cost to fix it. Casey was wanted to look into that himself and look into possibly having it rebuilt or and doing something basically similar to what was there, but
Right.
upgraded a little bit.
I think I personally would like to see, restore, keep it.
Mhm. So he was gonna come over and get some measurements and some stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't know if it's something he's wanting to pursue, but he mentioned maybe talking to this, the high school again, seeing if they may wanna coordinate and do something with it, so.
Deidre?
I did go speak to the high school last week. We're not sure about welding because it's part of an ag class. They do teach welding at CCA North in Billerica, but it's part of the ag class. But when I spoke with Mr. Robinson, he said what might be better is if he has FFA involved and they do the plantings that go around the sign and that sort of thing. But we discussed that we would nail it down at a later date because
That doesn't look like a very complicated sign.
No, it's not.
Okay, all right, but we don't know if insurance is covering it or not.
I've not followed up with that, as. of
Who is
yet.
following up with that?
Chief's got the report on it, where it was, okay.
When was that, today? Yeah, I can check on it. I didn't even know anything about this sign.
Oh, okay. So there should be two insurances. Should be two insurances covering it, right? The person who was driving and our own insurance.
I don't know if our insurance was, if that was something that would be
We should
covered
try,
under
we should
ours.
check into it.
Yeah.
We pay a lot of money for that insurance.
But we don't wanna pay more.
Well, we don't want to spend more, but
If you look, because I don't remember seeing that, and if it was an accident, if it was a person, you would think it would go against their insurance, but I'll definitely check with ours. I just didn't know anything about it, so I will follow up with that.
okay. We didn't either.
Yeah, I'll just, okay.
With that being said, if we're going through insurance, then I'll need to, more than likely have an outside party look at, building that sign, because we would need quotes and all that, and then
Yeah.
we'll have to do the.
All right,
song
well,
and
we
dance
know
with
the, we
insurance.
now know the various aspects of it, and
Yeah,
somebody's coordinating, putting all that together, I'm assuming? We had about 3 different agencies talking to that. Who's coordinating it? Is that you, Lisa?
We'll take care of it.
Okay.
I'll get the quotes on the sign, Kristen will handle the insurance side of things.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay, number 5, monthly report by Waterwork Plant Superintendent Jimmy Jenkins.
Yeah, if anybody had any questions?
Anyone have any questions? Guess not. All right, number 6, monthly report by Public Works Director Josh Smith.
The only thing I would add to mine is the letter that I give you guys from Matt Wyndham. He sent this over to me late last week, Thursday, in regards to the meter leak at the vault on the Rainy Road tie-in. And it's got his assessments and a credit of $1,147.42, so, for the time that they were able to monitor, where they were able to go back and see where that was leaking from, so.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's, hard to disagree with it. We have no way to measure that ourselves. They have a SCADA system that's, that's calibrated, and, from the time that we know that it was leaking, I mean, it was leaking to the point it was boiling out of the vault. So, 219,000 gallons, so, for that amount of time, that time period that we know that it was leaking, that seemed to be a fair number, so.
All right, any other questions? All right, that completes Public Works.
Thank you, sir. Our next committee is Public Safety, chaired by Councilman Howard Walden and Vice Chair Councilwoman Alexis Bowles. Mr. Walden.
All right, thank you, Mayor. The chief is on the way up. Hello, Chief. Not much on there. Item number 1, monthly report by Police Chief Lee. And y'all have that in your packet.
They're pretty much the same as last month. We got a few additional dispatch calls. Calls are picking up a lot, mainly spring break. So that's how we end up with 420. The highlighted area, just, anybody have any question on it?
On the stop sign violations, I see y'all had been working some areas there like Webster Lake, Ivy Lake, Old Bremen Road.
Yes, sir.
Any-
Those were the areas that was complained on these last couple of months.
Have you been able to
Yes, sir.
catch anybody, write some
Yes,
citations?
sir, but not as many as what, the residents say it was, but, you got an officer parked down there with a noticeable vehicle with the
They're gonna stop.
decals on, ain't nobody gonna run the stop sign or nothing like that. But we still had a few to do it,
I hope it slows them down some too.
yes.
Do you have anything to add on Sophie? Has she been active or?
Yes, she's pretty active. I mean, it's nothing big that happened so far. I mean, she really deter a lot of crime. Further as drugs and stuff like that. We don't have as many arrests as we did with her in him being in that K-9 vehicle. People try to go around Temple now versus come through it, so.
I saw in a report somewhere where we had to have some work done on the cage. What happened there? Was it
It was
damaged?
something wrong with the car, something with like the heating system, air conditioning system, and they had to remove the cage to get to it.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's what happens. You got a big cage sitting back there. They have to take it. It was located between the trunk and the middle part of the car. They have to take the whole cage out to fix it. So we have to pay to pull the cage out and put it back in.
I had a request over on to Old Bremen Road, see about lowering the speed limit over there. It's 35 miles an hour now.
Should be already 35.
No, I mean, it's 35 now, but
Yeah.
I had a request to see about lowering that. So
To 25, that's gonna be up to y'all.
is that something,
That's a city street, so
City Street? Well, you know, Councilman Russell had showed us some video
yes.
of people that they were booking it down Old
Yes.
Bremen Road right in front of his house.
That same guy that he showed us the video on, we was able to get him in a traffic stop a time or two, but it never was for speeding, it was for other violations. So, but, yes, I did see some of the videos that he sent, and the guy was going at a pretty high rate.
And I had another complaint on the other end of Old Bremen Road about, or I had a concern about lowering the speed limit there.
Okay.
So is that something that
So does lowering it do anything to stop the problem?
probably won't stop the problem, but if anybody's issued a citation, it could,
You can
You know,
get a lot of
add the fine.
complaints on it too, because they're gonna say lowering it, 35 mile an hour is usually standard. 25 is where you got subdivisions at, where kids are running across the street all the time and walking around and riding bikes and everything else, which they do on Old Bremen Road, but not as much as like a subdivision. So, but when you try to lower, they're gonna be griping about it, but let's see what happens.
we got,
You have to do a speed study if you want
Yeah.
to legally lower a speed limit, on a street like that, especially if you want a citation to hold up. Harrelson County just tried doing that on one of the roads that I take home every day, and, they lowered it, from 45 to 35, because a teenager was walking in the middle of the road, and, instead of telling the kid not to walk in the road, they lowered the speed limit, and it lasted a couple months, and, the citations were getting thrown out because there wasn't certain studies done, and then the road, doesn't warrant, 35 miles an hour, it warrants 45 miles per hour, so they recently just raised it back about 2 months ago.
I think Old Bremen would probably warrant a 25.
well, you gotta remember, we got a school, elementary
Well,
school
there's a
over
school
there.
there, and
It's worth a try.
those curves that are there, I think that we need to have that information though, and if we do need. No,
Yes.
if we need to do a speed study.
Well, your speed study's required here, so we can.
Oh, okay. How much is a speed study?
Well, if you want us to do it, we'll have to find out, but it will cost money.
I don't wanna lower it without it, so.
So,
One thing my deal
Sure, either
is-
you spend
is-
money.
I know, I'm just saying, we need to figure out whether or not we're gonna do it.
Yeah,
We'll just to find out what it costs to do
Yeah.
the study,
yeah.
and bring that to us on Monday, if you could do that.
You
My
know-
DOT experience is, as the chief mentioned, 25 mile per hour roads are for highly residential streets. That's the legal, that is the lowest legal limit that is recognized. We've got areas that are posted at 15 miles per hour, we really can't enforce those legally. And 25 miles per hour is, what the school speed limit was lowered to during school traffic, peak school traffic time.
if it indeed is warranted, being changed to 25.
I think the speeding is a real problem that we've got in this town. Because all you gotta do is take a left on Lakeview Drive, and those same speeders are coming up through there. And I mean, when you go to work and you're following people, and they don't even acknowledge that a stop sign exists. There are more and more people who just, the one below us, I guarantee you that there's a significant number of people who don't even slow
We
down.
caught a few there too, that little three-way.
And, yeah, and then the three-way over here that's feeding I-20. A lot of people are stopping, but there are quite a few people who just come right on through. So I understand that, it's a legitimate complaint. You're in a police car, so they don't do it. I'm in my truck and they don't know me and they do it. And I don't know I don't know what we do to get people to understand, slow it down. I can't believe that there's not more people hit in the town. Because we don't have the sidewalks in these subdivisions, so people have to walk on the edge of the road. And they're bad about walking in dark clothes in the night on the side of the road. And then people are coming by them at 45, 50 miles an hour. I mean, I wish somebody could give us a plan. Just saying.
Okay. Well, we'll find out what it costs for the study.
Yep.
Any more questions for the chief? Or anything you'd like to add, chief?
No, I'm good.
You good? Okay. All right, well, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And with that will conclude the Public Safety Committee
All right.
portion.
Next up is Personnel Committee, chaired by Mayor Pro Tem Richard Brightnell, Vice Chair Councilman Howard Walden. Mr. Brightnell.
The only thing is the monthly report by Ms. Nichols. If you have any questions, email her. And with that, that's it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Next is opportunity for closing comments. Mr. Walden?
Don't think so. I'm good, thank you.
Ms. Miller?
No, I don't have anything, thank you.
Ms. Bowles?
No, sir.
Mr. Brightnell?
Nothing except echoing what's already been said about George's Week. I thought that everything was amazing. The deal that the senior center put together, the food was awesome. By Kathleen, program was awesome by Shanika.
How many rolls did you eat?
No.
How many rolls did you eat?
How many rolls today? As many as I could sneak, no. I had a couple of them, they're pretty good. The chicken was awesome.
Mayor, Temple Middle
All
School.
right.
Mayor.
Mayor, Mr. Mayor.
I'm
Temple
sorry.
Middle School chorus was outstanding.
Yes.
They were outstanding.
If you haven't heard that group, they are, woo. If they stay with us when we get to the high school, they're gonna have a lot of literary and be state championships out of that group.
Good deal. All right, no executive session. I'm not aware of any reason. All right. So, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. Oh, that was Ms. Bowles.
Ms. Bowles? All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, the same sign. Motion carries 4-0. We are adjourned.
That's quickest meeting ever, and we had Richard. How'd that happen?